Welcome back to the Real Vision Podcast, where we explore the power of intentional living and mindful practices to transform our lives. I'm your host, Chris with a K, and I'm so grateful and thrilled to have you with me today. In our first episode, we jumped into the concept of intentional living and how it can shape our personal evolution. Last time, we discussed turning our visions into reality with practical tips. And today, we're going to build on those ideas and talk about how to transform challenges into opportunities through mindful, intentional living. So let's start by talking about challenges. I mean, we all face them, whether they're personal, professional, or somewhere in between. And it's very easy to see challenges as obstacles. But what if we could just shift our perspective and start seeing them as opportunities for growth? I remember a time in my own life when I was faced with a significant challenge. You see, when I decided to leave my job, I truly didn't know how things were going to work out. And it was probably not the best time considering I just had a kid, no steady stream of income. To be honest, I didn't even have my LLC created or anything. I just knew that I had a skill set that I had developed and that I could earn income from it. I didn't have a mentor or anyone to guide me on the way of creating the structure for my business, but I didn't let it stop me. The one thing I did have was a burning desire that everything was going to work itself out. And you see, it was this thought that began to inspire me to take action. The interesting thing with this is stuff started to happen almost magically in my life. I started getting ideas of what was necessary to do. And sometimes this is where you should start, not from the spot of how things are going to get done, but from the place of knowing that you're going to succeed in anything that you put your mind to. So things began to start aligning in my life along with this burning desire. I created the LLC, developed my logo, designed my website all within a day. And from there, I started taking on projects. Man, I didn't care what I was earning. I just wanted to get behind the camera as much as I could. I wanted to make the public aware of my skill set behind the camera. As this was going on, I had already begun researching the idea of logistics and how much you can earn doing that. And shortly thereafter, I started a logistics company, which was able to provide the revenue necessary to keep the dream alive. Little did I know that I would stumble across a contract allowing me to earn way more than I had ever earned before. And this is why it's extremely important to get a real vision for what it is that you want. Forget the how, just start focusing on what you want. This experience taught me that challenges are not roadblocks, but stepping stones. And if we could just shift our mindset, we can see the potential for growth and learning in every difficulty we encounter. So how can we start to shift our mindset and practice mindful, intentional living? Well, here are some practical tips. You see, every morning I start setting my daily intentions. I take a few minutes to set my intentions for the day. And this allows me to focus on what I want to achieve and how I want to feel. Then I started practicing gratitude. I started keeping a gratitude journal and writing down 3 things every day that I was grateful for. You see, this started to help me shift my focuses from challenges to positive aspects of my life. Then I started working on my breathing. You see, this simple practice can help center your mind and reduce stress. And it also helped me to stay present. I started making a conscious effort to be just present in the moment. I forgot about things that happened in the past. I wasn't worried about what was coming in the future. And I was only focused on the now. And this allowed me to give my full attention to whatever I was doing in that moment. Then I started to reflect and adapt. At the end of every day, I would reflect on what went well and what didn't. And I would use these reflections to adapt and improve my approach for the next day. You see, we all can evolve and grow in any area of our life. Where we're at, it's not the end all be all. It can completely change and you can reinvent yourself. You see, 3 years ago today marks my journey in the fitness world. I've always had an off and on relationship with the gym, but this time it was different. You see, this time the goal began to become bigger than me. I started to think about how many people was depending on me to be the best version of myself. Look, whether you realize it or not, there is always someone watching, waiting to be motivated and inspired by the actions that you take. And when the idea of becoming a father started to become more real, then I knew what I had to do. I would go to the gym regardless on what I felt like doing, regardless of the time I might not have had. I knew I had to sacrifice certain things, and that while this might be the harder road, it would give me the results that I wanted. You know, something interesting begins to happen when you do the harder things in life. Your life typically starts to become easier. I took this same approach in other areas of my life, and before I knew it, I wasn't the same Chris anymore. No, I was the 2.0 version of myself, constantly moving the goalposts, constantly wanting to become better. I became infatuated with the idea that I could improve in all of my areas. And so I want to introduce a challenge to you. Identify a current obstacle in your life and reframe it as an opportunity. Reflect on how you can approach it with a mindful and intentional mindset. And share your progress using the hashtag #RealVisionTransform. And as we wrap up today's episode, here's a few things that I just want you to be mindful of. Challenges are opportunities in disguise. So if we start practicing mindful, intentional living, we can transform our perspective and unlock our potential. I encourage you to start implementing these practices we discussed today. Share your experiences on social media using the hashtag #RealVisionTransform. I look forward to hearing your stories and seeing your progress. And in our next episode, we're going to jump deeper into specific strategies for maintaining consistency and discipline in your mindful, intentional living journey. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with others. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity waiting to be embraced. And until next time, day by day in every way, keep striving to get better and better.